Cruise prices are higher this year, and if you're looking for a way to save money on your next cruise, you are not alone. In this video, I have gathered up 25 money-saving cruise hacks that will save you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on your next cruise vacation. Hi there, I'm Ilana from the website lifewellcruise.com. Welcome back to my channel. Now you can see behind me that this is not my usual filming location. I'm actually in Florida now. We're here for a couple of weeks before a cruise, and we're doing a little bit about working vacation. I do have my little helper here. You might see her a little bit later on. This is Abby, my dog. In any case, I did want to share with you these money-saving cruise hacks because I do think it's more important than ever that we can look for ways to save a little bit of money without sacrificing the quality and really what we want out of a cruise vacation. Now, there's a lot of great advice out there and a lot of tried and true tips that still really work today. But in this video, I have quite a lot of new information and new money-saving hacks for you, in part that I've gathered up from the LifeWell Cruise community. I did ask in the LifeWell Cruise community, what are your best money-saving cruise travel hacks? I got some amazing ideas. I also did some research on my own, and I'm going to share some of the tips that I personally use. Now, before I get started, I did want to mention two things. Firstly, please do leave your own money-saving cruise tips down in the comments below. It always helps other people. And secondly, if you like this video, if you find it helpful, informative, or enjoyable in any way, then please do give this video a big thumbs up. I really do appreciate it. And please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Let's get started. Number one, bring your own snorkel gear. Now, this is particularly good if you're on Caribbean or Bahamas vacations, and obviously if this is something that you like to do. But you can save a lot of money by not having to book those excursions where you have the rental of your snorkel gear that are included. And as well, even if you go to the cruise line private islands, oftentimes the snorkeling there is amazing. And by bringing your own snorkel gear, which you can purchase on Amazon for probably $20 to $25, or even at a local store, this is going to be something that you can use for years. Number two, drive to the cruise port. Now, I know this is not advice that is going to work for everybody, but a lot of people did say in the LifeWell Cruise Facebook community that this is something that they are now doing. And there's a little bit of a rule of thumb. A lot of people said if their drive is anything less than 10 hours, it is something that they would consider. Now, I might be an anomaly. We actually drove to Florida. It was a 24-hour drive, but I can tell you that the flights right now from Montreal to Florida were approximately $1,000 per person. We are 3 people. By driving, I think we saved probably a good $2,500 or so. It really was much less to drive than to fly. Now, obviously, if you're cruising solo, you're one person, so the savings is not as significant. But if you are 2, 3, 4 people, a family, this can make a huge difference. Number 3, skip the drink package and instead bring drinks on board. Now, I don't mean that you should try to sneak in drinks on board, but cruise lines do allow you to bring a certain amount of drinks, well, without any penalty. So basically what you can do is you can usually bring 1 bottle of wine per adult per cabin. On many cruise lines, they'll allow you to bring a small amount of soda. So for instance, 12 cans or so of soda. You can also bring refillable water bottles, and you can refill water safely on your cruise ship, or you can otherwise buy a water package, which really isn't very expensive to simply pick up on the cruise. Now, we usually do get a drink package because I do like the convenience, and sometimes it does come as a perk. But I have to say, on a cruise that we did on Carnival in the summertime, we opted not to get a drink package. When I looked at how often we would be off the cruise ship, I just thought probably it wasn't so worth it. And I'm glad I didn't. I did calculate it. It was better for me. I brought 2 bottles of wine on board. Plus, if you've ever heard me talk about my DIY sangria recipe, I will share that later on in this video, along with another DIY drink recipe. Number 4, book excursions and any package upgrades. Book them before your cruise during promotions and sales. Now, always you should be booking your packages before you get on your cruise. It is going to be cheaper. But during certain holidays, you might find that your cruise line actually runs a sale on excursions anywhere from 20% to as much as over 50%. Now, recently, I booked an excursion on a celebrity cruise. We saved over 50%. I think it was 53% per person. We're going to be 4 people on that cruise, and that excursion regular price was about $250 US. So therefore, when we were 4 people, I was able to book it for less than half price. That saved me almost $500. Now that was during a Black Friday sale. However, I've seen sales right now around Christmas time, and I have seen sales at President's Day. So always watch during those sale days, and you can always book and you can cancel and rebook if there is a better price. Number 5, reprice and refare. Now this is not a new tip. I have shared this before, but really it bears mentioning because it can save you a lot of money. So as long as you've made your deposit, perhaps you've booked 8 months out, a year out, as your cruise gets a little bit closer, just keep an eye on that price. And if the price does become lower, call your travel agent or the cruise line. And almost all the time, they're going to honor that lower price as long as that same category of cabin is available. But I do have another tip for you. Some people really like to use price drop alerts. So you can use different websites. You can sign up for price drop alerts. The websites that you can use include Cruise Watch, Cruise Line, and Cruise Plum. Please let me know if you've ever signed up for price drop alerts and what your results were down in the comments below. Number 6, get your shareholder benefits. Now this has been a benefit that just has kept on giving for me. Now what I did during the pandemic is I purchased 100 shares of Norwegian Cruise Line stock, of Royal Caribbean stock, and of Carnival. And across the different brands, when you do go on their cruise, what you can do is you can apply for a shareholder benefit. And basically what you're going to get is you're going to get onboard credit to be able to use on that cruise. Now typically for a 7-day cruise, you are going to be awarded $100 onboard credit. Now it can vary by cruise line, but that's most of the time what I have been getting. Now please keep in mind I'm not a financial advisor, and this is not financial advice. I'm only sharing what I did and what worked for me. Number 7, money saving cabin tips. Now there are a few tips that are going to work to save you money. One of them is consider choosing an interior cabin. Now I think we all like balcony cabins. It's nice to have that fresh air. However, don't think that it is a necessity to have a balcony cabin on a cruise. You can be just as happy on a cruise with an interior cabin if you have chosen the right cruise ship for you, and if you are okay staying in a windowless cabin. So that is one way to save money, and you might even save half the price of your cruise. However, there are other ways to save as well. That includes looking at an ocean view cabin. We booked a cruise coming up shortly, and it's actually going to be in an ocean view cabin. I couldn't justify the cost of the balcony, but the ocean view cabin was only about $100 more than the inside cabin, and I definitely could swing that. Now, if you're not picky about the cruise cabin location, a guarantee cabin can save you money and work for you. And finally, cabin upgrades. Now again, you do have to be okay with whatever cabin you have chosen. But if you've booked an ocean view cabin and you would really like to have a balcony cabin, consider simply bidding a small amount of money, even one of the lower bids, to get that balcony cabin. Now, if you're cruising off season, if you're not cruising during the highest time of the year, there's a good chance that you just might get your upgrade. Now, by the way, if you're going on a cruise and you're trying to stick to your budget and keep organized, I do have the LifeWell Cruised Ultimate Cruise Planner. Now, the LifeWell Cruised Ultimate Cruise Planner is a 47-page downloadable, printable planner that will help you to stay organized from the time that you book your cruise all the way through disembarkation. Now, it includes cruise budget planning forms, cruise shore excursion planning forms, cruise packing lists, cruise outfit planning forms, and more. If you are interested in seeing what's included in the LifeWell Cruise Ultimate Cruise Planner, I'll leave all of the information linked down below in the description of this video in case you do want to check it out. Save spending money for your cruise. Now, I love this tip because oftentimes we think about saving money on a cruise in terms of the cabin and other types of expenses, but we also do need spending money for excursions, for tips, maybe for drinks in port and more. So here are some ways that you can actually save money before your cruise. So if you've booked your cruise several months or even a year before your cruise, consider using the envelope system to actually save some cash. So every week, save $10 or $20, put that into an envelope. If you've saved for a year, so for 52 weeks, if you save $10 a week, that's $520. If you've saved $20 a week, that is over $1,000. The tip jar. So another tip that came from a community member, love this one, is save money in a jar, or you can use an envelope. But every time you have dollar bills in your wallet, so every day, empty out your wallet and put those single dollar bills into a jar. That is going to be great when you need single dollar bills to tip some of the crew members on your cruise. And you could put even small bills like 5 and 10s in there as well. By the way, if you have any method of saving small bills, please let me know down in the comments below. Number 10, sign up for a credit card where you can earn travel rewards that you can use towards cruises, hotels, and airfare. Number 11, join a hotel rewards program. Now, I have to say, for many years, I didn't really pay very much attention to this, and I just really looked for the best price. But now I do try to stick with the Marriott family. We have actually earned free nights hotels, and that definitely has added up to savings. Number 12, now if you don't have a drink package, this is going to save you money on beer and wine in particular. So what you can do is, instead of ordering one beer at a time, you can order a bucket of beer. Now, the bucket of beer is what it sounds like. Instead of having one beer, you're going to get a bucket with 5 beer, if I'm not mistaken, but you're going to pay the price for 4. However, what one member shared is that the crew would actually hold the beer for him and actually still serve him one at a time, as long as he paid for the bucket of beer. Now, I suspect a little tip may have been involved, although I cannot confirm this. Now, the other tip he also shared is that when it comes to a glass of wine, instead of buying one glass of wine at a time, you can buy a bottle of wine, and then the bartender will keep that bottle of wine behind the bar and simply pour you one glass at a time, and you could even save that bottle of wine for later. Number 13, happy hour specials. So do check for those happy hour specials and other drink specials that you are going to find on the cruise. Now, you can check that by looking at your daily planner, checking your app, and this is going to save you money on your drinks. Okay, so here are 2 drink DIYs, and yes, I have used them in the past. So the first one is DIY sangria. Now, I've made red sangria, but you can make white sangria if you like that. So what you'll do is you'll bring your bottle of wine on board. So of course, this is only really helpful if you don't have the drink package. So you take your red bottle of wine, try to get a screw top so you don't have to bring a corkscrew with you. Now, from the buffet, what you're going to do is you're going to get a glass of orange juice and maybe a glass of pineapple juice. I like the sweetness of the pineapple juice, so I do bring that back as well. And then you're going to pick up in a little cup or something like that some fruit. Now, the fruit that really works well, you want that citrus, so you want to get oranges, and if you have any berries, those are really, really good. So strawberries, raspberries, pick that up as well. Now, if you want to, you can also cut up some other fruit, so that can include grapes or apple, but even just oranges and strawberries, well, that is going to do the trick. Now, when you're back in your cabin, what you're going to do is you're going to take one of those thermal cups. Ideally, you're going to put your fruit at the bottom of the cup, and then you're going to put your red wine just on top of that, and you could put the equivalent of about half a bottle or a little bit less, depends how much you're making at a time. And then you're going to add about 1/3 of the juice, and you're going to leave that sit there. Ideally, if that can sit for the next 6 or 12 hours, that's going to make a pretty good sangria. Now, what you can do is you can pick up a couple of glasses at any of the bars and bring them back to your cabin, and then you can have sangria out on your balcony. Now, this next DIY is actually even easier. It's DIY mimosas. Now, on Carnival, they allow you to bring a bottle of champagne or sparkling wine or Prosecco. So what you can do is you can bring that on board and just go and get a champagne glass at one of the bars, bring it back to your cabin, and just bring some orange juice from one of the buffets. And then what you can do is you can simply put your sparkling wine and then your orange juice, and then you have your own DIY cheap mimosas that you can have on your cruise. And honestly, if you're not a really big drinker, drink packages are expensive, and this is a good way to save money. Number 18, this is a practical one. Get travel insurance. While it might seem like an expense upfront, it can save you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars if something doesn't go as planned. Number 19, skip the cruise line transfers, in particular if you are more than 2 people, because it is going to be cheaper to take a taxi or to take an Uber to the airport at the end of your cruise, or even to take a transfer at the beginning of your cruise. Now, if you are a group, I do have a tip, and this was shared with me. You can actually book a shuttle. So basically a shuttle service to pick you up at the cruise port. This is going to be cheaper when you're 10, 12, 15 people or more. And in some cases, what some people said they did, I think this is brilliant, is they actually booked a bus to transport them to the cruise terminal. And this is in particular if instead of driving to the cruise port that you might consider different types of transportation. A bus might be one thing that you can do when you have a group of 20 people or more. Number 20, save money on shore excursions in 2 ways. One way is that instead of booking the cruise line excursion, you can save money by booking with another tour provider. Now, there are reputable tour providers that will say that they will guarantee to get you back to the cruise ship. Now, I'm actually going to be on a future cruise. I'm going to be trying out one of these reputable vendors. Many cruisers do use them. So I am going to be trying that out in the future, and hopefully that will all go well. I'm going to share that with you, but please let me know as well if you've booked any tours with different companies. Then please let me know your experiences down in the comments below. Now, the other thing that you can do, and I do this a lot, is research your cruise port of call and see what you can do on your own. Now, in particular, if you are there for a long period of time, you have several hours, then oftentimes you can take a cab just to a local beach, or you might be able to walk somewhere that is close by. And this way you can spend money in some islands or in some destinations on excursions, and you can save money on others. Number 21, pack your own over-the-counter medication and your own first aid items. Now, this can actually save a lot of money in ways that you might not consider. Now, first of all, finding over-the-counter medication can be difficult on cruise ships, and at the same time it can be expensive. But if you can't find that over-the-counter medication on a cruise ship, or if you need to go to the medical center for first aid treatment, that is going to cost you a lot of money. It's much easier to bring what you need before you go and simply pack that in your luggage. Number 22, look for travel agent deals. Now, you might be somebody who books directly with a cruise line. Maybe you already know what cruise you want and you already know what cabin you want, and there's nothing wrong with that. However, if you think that you are booking for the cheapest price, you might be leaving some money on the table. Not only will you not pay more, but sometimes they're actually going to have some preferential pricing that is going to make the cruise cheaper. And at the very least, oftentimes you're going to get an additional perk that might be a bottle of wine or an additional onboard credit. Number 23, skip the cruise line parking lot and instead opt for an off-site parking lot, or sometimes even better, a park and cruise hotel. There are going to be significant savings at most cruise line parking lots. Number 24, if you're purchasing the cruise line Wi-Fi, consider purchasing a multi-device package and sharing that with the other members of your party rather than purchasing an individual Wi-Fi per person. Oftentimes that multi-device package is going to be the cheapest option. Number 25, take advantage of those embarkation day specials and promotions. Now, in particular, many cruise lines have specials on the specialty dining on the first night of the cruise. Now, on Carnival, they have a really good deal, which is when you go to one of their specialty restaurants on the first night of your cruise, you're going to get a free bottle of wine. So another way to save money on drinks on a cruise. On other cruise lines, they're actually going to have a percentage off on the first night of your cruise as an incentive to go to the specialty dining. Now, you're also going to find first day specials on spa treatments, so that's a good day to sign up. And something else you can do is if you are thinking about upgrading any of your packages, that is a good day to look for promotions on upgrading as well. Now, I'm going to leave all of the information about the LifeWell Cruise Ultimate Cruise Planner linked down below in the description of this video, and I would love to hear from you. Please let me know what are your best money-saving cruise travel hacks. Please let me know down in the comments below, as well as any questions that you may have. Now, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give it a big thumbs up. I really do appreciate it. And please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Bye for now, and happy cruising.